The Flowmaster American Thunder Axleback that we have here today is going to be a great choice for the 2019 and newer 5.7 Ram owners who might be looking to add a subtle increase in bark along with the stealthy black tips. Now, this resonator deleting Axleback will feature quality 409 grade stainless steel along with the massive 4.5-inch black tips, all for right around that mid $300 price point. Now, install is going to involve some cutting here, guys. Therefore, site's going to knock this up to a very soft 3 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter and call it a couple of hours or so to complete from start to finish. But hang with me for a bit, guys, and we'll walk you through that job later in the video. Now, even though Flowmaster does refer to this as their American Thunder Series Axleback, in my experience in the past, typically that involves a unique muffler to designate that American Thunder Series. That's not the case here. As you can see, guys, what you're really getting is basically a resonator deleting set of straight pipes for your 5.7 Hemi. Now, by keeping the muffler stock and not touching that and just deleting those bullet resonators towards the rear of the truck, you are getting a nice little bump in volume along with a deeper tone that I really do think sounds pretty awesome with the Hemi engine. So breaking out our patented Wake the Neighbor scale, I'm gonna give the Flowmaster a solid 3 out of 5 on my 1 to 5 or 1 to Wake the Neighbor scale. Again, this really isn't a massive increase in sound that you would otherwise get by changing out the muffler and the resonators together. Instead, a modest but noticeable increase is a great way to really sum things up here with this particular option. Now, because you are deleting those resonators, do expect a little bit of highway drone in the cab at certain RPM, as mentioned in a couple of the reviews, but outside of that, a very enjoyable system for the price point. Also keep in mind here, guys, too, that if you did ever want to crank the volume even more, you do still have some flexibility with the muffler. Because again, as it sits now, the stock muffler is still in place with this system. It is going to help keep things in check. But if you really do get that urge to crank things up, you could always swap out the muffler, achieve not only more volume, but also a slightly different tone depending on which muffler you decide to go with. But with the sound out of the way, let's move into design and construction. And guys, if you couldn't tell, this system really is as simple as it gets, right? You've got 2 sections here of 2.5-inch mandrel bent tubing, which is going to take place of your factory resonators, of course. You got your factory style hangers welded into place. And then of course, we're looking at the twin black ceramic coated tips measuring in at a rather large 4.5 inches embossed with your Flowmaster logo. The material is all stainless here throughout, guys. You got 409 grade stainless for the piping, whereas you have 304 grade stainless for the tips themselves. And the black, I think, adds kind of a stealthy vibe if your truck, of course, doesn't already come equipped with black tips. But now, because we are dealing with a full stainless steel system, guys, Flowmaster went ahead and threw a limited lifetime warranty at this thing, just in case you should run into any issues down the road. But now let's shift gears and get into the install here, guys. And if you didn't know, this Axleback features what is called a cut and clamp design, meaning you're cutting off the stock tailpipes and resonators right around the axle. You're actually going to insert the new Flowmaster piping into your factory piping, clamp it in place, and then at that point, install your tips and you're good to go. But now to give you a better idea of just how and where to cut, here's my man Joe to walk you through it and give you a tool breakdown.
The tools used for this install are a ratchet, an impact gun, a 14mm wrench, a marker, a 14mm socket, 15mm socket, a deburring tool, a tape measure, exhaust hanger tool, and a metal cutting device. The first step of this install is going to be taking a couple of measurements so that we know exactly where to make our cuts. Don't be intimidated by this job. I'm going to show you every step of the process to get it done. Now for our measurements, what we're going to do is come to our tailpipe where this bend comes right off of these resonators, and you're going to find the straight section before the bend, and you're going to measure back 1 inch. So I have the bend starting here at the 3-inch mark. I'll make my mark here at the 2-inch, and that's where I'm going to make my cut, and I'll do this for both sides of the exhaust system. As I said, I'm just going to make the same exact mark on the other side of the exhaust system. I'm left-handed, so this is a little bit tricky. Now that I have my marks made, I can get ready to make my cut. So now I'm ready to make my cut. I've got a Sawzall with a metal cutting blade. I've got my eye and ear protection so I can cut where I made my mark, and then I'm gonna repeat that on the other side. Now that I've completed my cut for my resonator, I can take my exhaust hanger plier tools and pop this out of the hanger and remove it from the truck. With everything out of my way, I'm gonna have to go ahead and just do a little bit of cleanup on the end of this pipe. I have a few metal burrs, so I'm gonna take a deburring tool and just clean this up before I install my new tailpipe. And now I can repeat on the other side of the truck. Once again, with my exhaust hanger tools, I'll just come here and pop the exhaust hanger out. Now I'm ready to install my new tailpipe into place. I have my clamp pre-installed onto the end, so that way I can just tighten it up once I have everything the way I want it. I'll slide it onto the end of the pipe and push the hanger into place. And now I can do the same thing on the other side. Now that I have my tailpipes installed loosely, I'll go ahead and slide my tips into place, get everything positioned, and then I can start tightening up my clamps once I have everything just the way I want it. Now I'm going to take my 15mm socket on my impact gun and snug up my clamps. If I need to make any adjustments, I can just loosen these up and move things around, but for now, I'll tighten these up. And now I'll do the same thing for the other clamp. Now that I have everything positioned exactly the way I want it, I'm going to take a 14mm socket and wrench and tighten up the clamp for the tips. The final step of this install is going to be installing the provided serrated washers onto the hangers themselves, and this is just going to stop the hangers from sliding back and forth when the truck is driving or any kind of vibration. And now you just do the same thing on the other exhaust hanger. And that's going to wrap up this review and install of the Flowmaster American Thunder Axleback dual exhaust system with black tips and rear exit with factory dual exhaust. Thanks for watching, and for all things Ram, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.